Hi! In this video, we will be learning how to compare properties of two functions of the same type, each represented in a different way. Before watching this video, it may be helpful to watch the video about creating and graphing linear functions. When comparing graphs, equations, and tables, the most important things are slope and the y-intercept. But first, we have to learn what those mean. Slope is rise over run, which is the same as how much does y change divided by how much does x change. Slope is written with the letter m. The y-intercept represents the y number when x equals 0. The y-intercept is written as the letter b. Now, let's look at how slope and y-intercepts are shown in equations. Whenever you have an equation with two variables, you have four parts. The x variable and y variable. The x and the y represent numbers that are related to each other. The slope and the y-intercept. You will always see them together in something called slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b, or y equals slope times x plus y-intercept. This is called slope-intercept form because this type of equation gives you the slope and the y-intercept. With an equation, all you have to do is look at the m spot and the b spot to get the slope and the y-intercept. Let's try y equals 2x plus 1. Remember, y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So, in this equation, the 2 is in the m spot, so the slope is 2. And the 1 is in the b spot, so the y-intercept is 1. Slope represents the change in y divided by the change in x, or how much does the y number change as the x number changes by 1. Since 2 is the slope, that means when x increases by 1, y increases by 2. If x goes from 1 to 2, y goes from 2 to 4. The y-intercept represents the y number when x equals 0. Since 1 is the y-intercept, that means when x equals 0, y equals 1. We can also write the y-intercept as 0, 1. Whenever you see something with parentheses and then a comma in between, that means it represents a point. The number on the left is the x and the number on the right is the y. For example, 1, 0, so if I wrote 1, 0, that means x equals 1 and y equals 0, or 2, 3, x equals 2 and y equals 3. You always see points that look like this, x, y. So we found the slope and the y-intercept of an equation. Now, let's look at how slope and y-intercepts are shown in tables. I recommend starting by finding the y-intercept. Remember, the y-intercept is the y number when x equals 0. So let's find where x equals 0. And you look, ta-da! X equals 0. Now we have to look at the y value that is next to the x equals 0. So we look down and we get y equals 2. Whenever you look at a table, if it's up and down, you always, the numbers that are up and down from each other are together. If you have a sideways table, the numbers left and right are next to each other. But since we have an up and down table, the up and down numbers are together. So, x equals 0 and y equals 2, which means that our y-intercept is y equals 2. So when x equals 0, y equals 2. You can also write this as the point 0, 2. Meaning the number on the left is x equals 0, and the number on the right is y equals 2. The slope is a little trickier. Remember, slope is how much y changes divided by how much x changes. We will pick two x and y numbers for this. They have to be connected. So, I'm going to pick x equals 1, y equals 4. So, for the slope, x equals 1, y equals 4, and x equals 2, y equals 6. We need to set up a division problem. It will look like this. The right y minus the left y, so 6 minus 4, we have to add parentheses to show that they're together, divided by the right x minus the left x. 2 minus 1, again parentheses to show that they're together. Now, we do 6 minus 4 is 2, divided by 2 minus 1 is 1, and we get 2. So, you get that the slope is 2. Even if you pick any numbers, any two pairs of numbers that are in the same up and down, you will get the same answer. So let's try with x equals 3, y equals 8, and x equals 5, y equals 12. And this is going to be a little bit bigger number, so let's see how it goes. So x equals 3, y equals 8, x equals 5, y equals 12. We'll do the same thing we did before, the more right number minus the more left number. So 12 minus 8 divided by right number minus the left number, 5 minus 3. You end up getting 12 minus 8 is 4 divided by 5 minus 3 is 2. So you get 4 divided by 2, and that is 2. Again, you find that the slope is 2.